This is History Animated.
Moreover, while he was in Europe, he wrote his first novel entitled Noli Tangere, Touch Me Not, the Social Cancer, a work which emphasized the dark aspects of Spain's colonial rule in the Philippines that particularly focuses more on the role of Catholic friars. However, because of its content, it was banned in the Philippines. Though there were some copies of Noli Tangere that was smuggled in, and because of this novel, Jose Rizal decided to return to the Philippines during the year 1887. But his stay in the Philippines did not last long when he was targeted by the police due to his novel that offended Catholic Church officials and members despite his apologies. So he returned to Europe and continued to write, in which he released his second novel, El Filibusterismo, The Reign of Greed, in 1891. He also published an article in La Solidaridad, a paper aligned with the propaganda movement towards achieving assimilation with Spain. Eventually, in the year 1892, Jose Rizal decided to go back to the Philippines even though he was exiled due to his writings that called for reform in Spain. But Jose Rizal did not let his fear overwhelm him because he knew his country needed him more to achieve the change at the hands of Spain. So he founded the La Liga Filipina in Manila, a non-violent reform society that originated from La Solidaridad and the propaganda movement.
This video is sponsored by Huion, the global leader in creative tablets manufacturing.
And later on, Rizal was exiled to Dapitan on the island of Mindanao. For almost 4 years, Jose Rizal was still in exile, and at that time, he met a girl named Josephine Bracken, in which he fell in love with her. Then later on, they decided to get married, as they requested a license to marry. And fortunately, because of the trouble he had with the church, the request was rejected. And during the year 1896, the Nationalist Secret Society was established called the Katipunan that revolted against Spain. At that time, even though Jose Rizal had no contact with the group and did not approve of its violent methods, he was arrested shortly after. He then went to trial and was convicted of sedition and sentenced to death by firing squad. So on December 30, 1896, at the age of 35 years old, a heartbreaking and tragic event happened in Manila. It was the public execution of Jose Rizal. The death of Jose Rizal created more opposition against the Spanish rule. That's why in 1898, the Philippines was no longer under the control of Spain. However, even though Jose Rizal died, his memories will always be forever in every Filipino's heart. He was one of the nationalist icons in the Philippines who also helped the country to take a brave step towards independence against the Spaniards. His 2 novels inspired other Filipinos to seek independence and brought a huge contribution during the early beginnings of the Philippine Revolution. Also, his advocacy to achieve independence through peaceful means rather than violent revolution has been admired by many people. His heroism, compassion, courage, patriotism, and love for the country has been recognized by the Filipino people. Currently, as a remembrance and honor of the national hero of the Philippines, Dr. Jose Rizal. A lot of memorials and statues can be seen not only within the country, but also in selected countries in the world. And in fact, there are some streets, towns, provinces, and even university named after him. And as a commemoration of his great contribution to the country, the Philippines built a memorial park for him, which is now referred to as the Rizal Park in Manila.